There you are, darling. I'm beginning to think that this is more of a hiding spot for you instead of a garden for plants. Unless that is your wish, to become amongst the roses, another beautiful flower amongst my garden. Given how deeply you've hidden yourself amongst this foliage, I might question that you are, in fact, trying to become a rose. Darling, what are you hiding from? Not me, I hope. The doctor. The family doctor. The doctor that has been coming here for so many years. The doctor? Darling, why are you hiding from Dr. Henderson? If you are doubting his skills, I assure you that he is a renowned doctor. He's quite capable. He has been treating myself for many, many years, and is just as skilled with human anatomy as he is with vampire. If that was your concern. No? You do not doubt? Darling, if you don't doubt Dr. Henderson, are you perhaps seeking a different doctor, a specialist, perhaps? Are you hiding something from me, darling? No? If you are not seeing a specialist and you are not doubting Dr. Henderson's abilities, then, pet, what is wrong? You are afraid. Afraid of what, darling? Afraid of what he might find? Afraid of needles, perhaps? Ah, of course. I see. I do understand that, but needles are not my favorite either. I know, ironic coming from a vampire, but it is what it is. I do not fear needles any longer, no. How did I get over that fear? This may sound a little amusing coming from me, darling, but I started by humming. Yes, humming. I would refuse to look at the doctor or at the injection site, and I would hum. I would hum, or I would sing, whatever came to mind. Anything to get my mind off of it. I knew they were necessary, and I decided that I did not want to be afraid any longer. It does seem rather silly to be afraid of needles and injections when I myself do something somewhat similar to those that I must use in order to survive. It seemed a cruel joke to be afraid of needles as well, when I have a couple in my own mouth. I will grant you that my fangs come with a bit of a specialty of causing euphoria after injection, something that I wish that needles could do as well, and I suppose there are some chemicals that you could use to do something similar, but it's not exactly the same thing, is it? So I simply decided that I was not going to be afraid anymore, and that I would do whatever it took to get over the fear. Injections in your life shall be needed at some point. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter how healthy. At some point they are necessary. And there are some things that if you are no longer afraid of needles, it can be helpful. Donating blood, for example. Well, it's beneficial to more than just me. Yes, I just hummed. I do not know if that will work for you, but I found something that I could think of that was not the exact thing that was going on at the time, that was not being injected. For my first foray into trying to get rid of this fear, I actually happened to be getting blood drawn. Yes, vampires do bleed, although it is cold and difficult to obtain, considering our heartbeats are so slow. But it is there, if not entirely our own, I suppose. But I happened to decide to distract myself by humming a little tune. No, I shall not hum for you now. Maybe later. But that first evening did not exactly go well. I did not manage to distract myself well enough, and happened to look back at the injection site, and I might have fainted. Don't make fun of me, pet. It was so many years ago. The fact that I remember it at all is actually quite impressive, I think. Yes, pet, I fainted. It caught up to me, I suppose you could say. It was not my finest hour, but it is what it is, and it was my first step. Up until that point, humming my tune did actually work. I was distracted thoroughly, so thoroughly that when I looked back it all kind of caught up with me, and I do believe that is what caused me to faint. At least that is what I'm going to say. But it did work, and I knew that it worked, logically. It is sometimes hard to fight the fear with something so logical while it is so emotional. But I did manage to gather the courage to go in a second time and not fight the injection. I tried to approach it logically. This is what needs to be done. This is what should be done. And before I fainted, it was working. So, nervously, when I needed to go back again, I did the same thing. Now, what you might need to do to distract yourself could be different. Perhaps you need to talk. Perhaps you need something to occupy your attention, which, if you really must go sometime soon, I'm more than happy to be a distraction for you. Whatever you need, pet. And if you need me to go with you, I don't mind. I have no qualms or issues going with you to go get your injection or to get your blood drawn, whatever you need, whatever has you so scared of needles. And if you aren't even sure that you're going to need an injection, then perhaps it isn't so bad to go to Dr. Henderson. He's not exactly one to frivolously give out injections or demand blood of any kind, despite being a vampire himself, of course. If you wish me to go with you, no matter what you need, I am more than happy to oblige, pet. If only you will come out of those bushes. That's better. Oh, darling. You have a leaf in your... Here, let me get it. There. As beautiful as you look amongst the flowers, you do diminish their beauty slightly by outshining them, so I'd rather you didn't try to hide amongst them. It just can't be helped. You being so much more radiant and appealing than those flowers. I do take pride in my garden, but I'd rather you not become a staple in it. Next time, darling, if you need anything, if you are afraid, if you need anything at all, please do come to me. If you need someone to go with you to the doctor or to be there with you when Dr. Henderson is invited, because perhaps having him come to you in a more comfortable environment would be appealing. Perhaps it would set your nerves a little bit better. Either way, if you ever need me for anything, I am here for you, pet. Just ask instead of hiding in the garden. Okay? Good. Now, let's go back inside, pet. Perhaps we can drink some of these plants in the form of tea instead of hiding amongst them. If nothing else, the tea should calm your nerves. Come on.